Alright, hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm in an entrepreneurship class, and I was just wondering if I can take a few minutes of your time and ask you some questions.
Sure.
So, first off, what's your name?
My name is Amanda Rowland.
And how has your day been so far?
It's been good. I went to class. It's been good, yeah.
Good. And so, what's your major?
I'm a journalism major for sports media.
So, what do you hope to, do with that, maybe? Or not exactly sure?
I'm pretty sure I want to be a magazine writer. And I'm sports media right now, but that might change. I might decide to just go to, a broader, so I'm not specific to sports. But I want to be a magazine writer, maybe write for, Sports Illustrated or something like that.
And so, what grade are you in?
I am a sophomore.
And so, did you get in as a freshman, or did you transfer in from somewhere?
I got in as a freshman to UF.
And so, how was, the adjustment from, high school to UF? Was it, a big change, or did you feel like you were prepared?
I went to a really small high school, so it was definitely, the shock of being around so many people is, hard to transition to. But I still live at home, so that I didn't really have the transition of, moving out, so that aspect has been pretty simple. And, yeah, it's been pretty easy. It hasn't been such a big change.
So, have you been in any classes so far that you're like, wow, this is, super hard, or...
Yeah, when I took statistics, that's probably the biggest challenge up until now when I'm in macroeconomics has been my
So, was that class, a big class, hundreds of students, or was it, a smaller...
Yeah, it was, a big lecture class.
Okay, so did you feel like you were the only one struggling, or was there, other kids in the class that maybe felt like they were lost, or...
Yeah, I think it was probably a mixture. There was, of course, the kids who already knew everything they'd need to know about statistics, which was crazy, but then there was also the kids who didn't know anything. So I kind of fell in the middle. But there are always people, looking for help and stuff.
Right. So did you ever look into some sort of tutoring to help you with that class?
Yes. For that was my first class I ever, bought the study note, tutoring packages. I think it's called Smoking Notes.
Smoking Notes,
Smoking
right.
Notes or Study Age or something. So yeah, that was my first class I used that tutoring source for.
And so how did it work? So how did you hear of them? Did you from other students or?
From other students, they pass out flyers all the time in class. People come and talk about it. There's also I think it's at UF. It's at the Broward Teaching Center. There's a bunch of tutors and they recommend the Study Edge stuff.
So you would go and pick up a packet, or how does it work?
You go to the UF bookstore and you have to buy the packets. I think they're $19, $18. And then you get a packet of all the whole material for separate exams. They have new ones for different exams. So they have all of the study material, and then there's flashcards that come with it. And I think that's it.
And there's practice problems and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and do they give you the answers at the end of the packet or something?
Yeah. It's just really good practice. Honestly, if I didn't have those, I would not have passed my tests.
So for that class, did you ever go see the TAs or anything?
It was kind of easy to get in touch with our TA because there was a lecture and then there was a lab.
Okay.
So if we ever had any questions, we could just ask our lab instructor who was our TA. And then there's always office hours, but I never went to the office hours.
So you've never done any one-on-one looked into it or anything?
I have. Well, for this semester especially for macroeconomics, I'm probably going to have to go use the one-on-one tutoring at the teaching center, but in the past I haven't gotten one-on-one tutoring.
So what is the teaching center? Where is it out on campus?
It's at there's dorms called the Broward dorms, and then there's the Broward Teaching Center, which is in the middle of the dorms. And I've never actually been, but I'm pretty sure that they have different tutors for every different subject you can think of at UF.
And do you know how much it costs?
It's free for students.
Oh, it is? So you just got to bring your Gator 1
Yep.
and and it's all different types of... Mm-hmm. So if you had to pay, what do you think would be a fair price
For tutoring?
for tutoring? Yeah.
Well, I think depends on what obviously what the tutoring is for. If it's extensive, if it was extensive help and I was desperate, I would pay are you asking hourly?
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Maybe, $10 an hour, $11. That sounds
Right.
No, that sounds $10 an hour. I feel would be my
good.
max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as what do you think your preference would be getting tutoring? Would you rather do it over the computer so you can be at home, or would you rather meet in a library or do one-on-one? What do you think?
I would definitely meet just because I've tutored middle school students in math before, and I find like no matter what age you are, taking yourself out of like your home or like where you're comfortable and putting you in like a place where you can focus, it's definitely beneficial because like obviously you're more focused and you can really pay attention to what your tutor is saying, and it's easier to, you know.
So do you think it'd be beneficial to be able to like record the tutoring sessions and then be able to like look back at it later?
Yeah.
Would that be something that you think would help? Like would you use that?
I've never thought about recording it, but I mean, I guess it could be pretty helpful just because, I mean, when you could take notes, of course, but maybe you won't remember everything your tutor said. So yeah, I think that would be helpful.
And then, so when you tutored, what did you find like helped the students the best? Like what methods or?
Definitely practice problems. Like typically, what I would do is I would like present if I would ask them what they were struggling with, and then they would like tell me, and then we'd kind of go over the material or like the logistics of what their problem was. And then right off the bat, I would like give them practice problems and work through some problems with them, so they really get a grasp on it. And then I will like give them a problem to do on their own. And then if they make any mistakes, we can like go over it. And that seems to be the practice, and like the trial and error kind of seems to be the best way for me.
So would they bring like the problems to you, or how would you like go about finding like the materials?
Typically, since I've only tutored like middle school, high school, they don't really have like packets, or like if there's a test coming up, they'll have like a practice test, and that seems to be the best way to kind of like find a problem because it's exactly what their teacher wants them to learn. So that's what's easiest.
So as far as like if you were to tutor with someone, what would be a quality that you would look for in a tutor, or like anything?
Definitely encouraging. I think it's important, especially when you're struggling with something, to not be like discouraged. You're already
so more like obviously constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism, and for them to like actually feel like they're invested in you, like to want to help you, not just like spilling out information to you. So it's not more of like, it's more of like a personal like conversation about what you're struggling
you can like relate
with. Yeah.
relate to you. And so when you're doing your like taking notes or like you're trying to learn a problem, do you prefer to like handwrite it, or do you like type it, or you kind of mix it up? Does it depend on the course, or how do you?
Like personally, when I'm trying to learn stuff, I handwrite. Like I'll print out the problems or whatever I'm doing, and then I'll have my notebook by me so I can write out the problems and see my thought process and my steps, because then it's easier to go back and find what I did wrong. So yeah, that seems to be the best for me.
So I know like you said you need help with like your stats class and your economics classes. So those are like the big scale classes. So obviously things like Smoke and Notes and Study Edge and Tutoring Zone offer that. So as far as when you get into your major, do you think there'll be tutoring? Like, do you know if there's tutoring offered for like the more like specialized courses for your?
For journalism specifically, obviously it's more of like writing and grammar, and I know that there's tutoring offered, but it's probably a lot more. It's not like obviously numbers based, so it's not like you're working on problems. It might just be like working on your style, like your style of writing or your grammar, stuff like that. I definitely know it is offered though.
So it would be like a different kind of like, what do you think would be the difference between like a math tutor and like a tutoring for like writing?
I think, well, at UF there's like a writing center that people can take their things they've written or papers that they can take there to like get reviewed. So I think that might be a good way. Like if I was needing help in like maybe I wanted to work on like my stylistic voice when I'm writing, I'll like write something, and then if I was going to a tutor, I can get them to read over it and then get like constructive criticism, or they could like criticize my grammar or something like that.
Right, because I'm not in any like writing courses, so it would be hard. Like I'm more of a math thing, so it'd be different to see how it goes.
Yeah.
And do you think you'd have a preference of like male or female tutor?
No, I think it all would depend on if you like get along with the person well. Male or female, I don't think it would matter.
Right. So do you think like an application process would be helpful? So like, let's say you needed help in your economics. If you were to like say, I prefer someone who can meet in person this time of day. I think that would be something that'd be helpful to.
Yeah, definitely. Just like, or even to say like I can meet this and this, or I like tell them what their major is, so then like they could be more specialized to you, because obviously you don't want to be tutored by someone who's not like proficient in what you're trying to learn.
Right, especially since you're like the sports media, maybe someone who's had like experience with something like that. So do you think there's anything else you'd add? Like maybe any suggestions you've had from like parents in the middle school that you like tutored, like suggestions like how you think you could help them? Or
I think definitely, well, this is kind of like more for like parents who have kids who are struggling, but if your kid's struggling in something, get them started on tutoring early, because I know like middle school age, it's much more important to get a good foundation, especially in math,
Right.
because when they get into high school, that they're not going to have that like nurturing teacher to help them along. So it's better if they need tutoring to start early. Don't wait till the last minute. Or even in college, if you're at the
Same
beginning
thing.
of the semester and you know you're struggling like I am right now, it's like
Yeah.
the beginning of the semester I need to
Get
go ahead
going.
and get tutoring, so at the end when my final exam I'm not like, kicking myself for it.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been helpful.
You're welcome.